So guys, welcome to this video. Now by the title you will probably notice that this was not the most fun one to make. But before we go back and I show you what actually happened, I just want to make something clear. Because what happened to the car was not because of bad quality parts, it was not because of the build quality for Mazda or anything like that. This was actually purely an installation error. And without giving you any more much more detail, I will just show you the footage. But yeah, let's just go back a few weeks to where I had a very bad Corona haircut and for some reason I had a beard. So guys, welcome to a quick video, and it's a bad one. Mia has had her first breakdown. Now Amy was driving home today, actually, when I'm filming this, and heard a large clunking sound coming from the rear. Told her to pull over, and now we're gonna be checking out what the damage is. So I limped the car home. It was drivable. She is still rolling, but you'll see what the issue is in a little bit. But guys, she's hurting. She really is. So the problem is actually has to do with this like shock absorber. Like, I already removed all of this, but if we check this out, if you look over there, you'll see the top of my suspension. So that one is still okay. But if you look over here, that's not supposed to be like that. So yeah, this one, the top hat is still in place, but it jacked, like the shock absorber somehow jacked through the top hat, hit this little in-between panel, and has actually broken loose one of the interior panels where the soft top is resting on. So what I'm gonna be trying to do is, first I'm gonna lift the car up so the load gets off this side, and then I think I'm just gonna try if I can remove the coilover entirely, and hopefully we can assess the damage then. So guys, it is out right now. This bottom one was a real bitch to get out, but it worked in the end. Now the problem is the spring is completely fully set, so I'm gonna try to loosen this collar up, move this one down to just decompress the spring so I can have a look at the top hat. But damn guys, never thought I would be doing this on a Wednesday night. But yeah, still love the car. Let's get this one fixed. So as you guys can see, this is where it rubbed up against the inside of the top hat. Now what happened probably is, in between this and the bottom of the top hat there should be some kind of a ring, I guess, to keep that in place, but just not there anymore apparently. So guys, welcome to the next day. And yes, I'm wearing a cap because of my Corona haircut. So you will have seen that we removed the coilover from the rear of the MX-5. It's in the trunk right now. So we're gonna go over to some old friends of mine who actually put on the coilover suspension on my previous car. And yeah, you guys might have seen some of their cars on Instagram or something. But we're gonna go over there. I'm not gonna tell you where we're going. We're gonna go over there and hopefully, fingers crossed, they have the parts we need to fix the MX-5. So without further ado, let's get this party started and let's go and get there. So guys, we just arrived, and as you can see from the cars that are like all around, we're in the right place. And if you guys know that building, this is Kean Suspensions. So let's hope that Kenny and Andy can help me out with my problem I have. Let's check it out. Now that's when I actually stopped filming. Now for one, it was really hard to film because I had a coilover in my hand and you need to hold the camera and you need to social distance and like disinfect your hands and everything. So I just left the camera in the car. But to give you guys a short rundown of what happened. So I arrived at Kean Suspensions after I called Kenny, and he said those guys were really helpful, and he just said, come by, bring your coilover, let's look at it. And the moment I came in, Kenny asked me, what did you do with your coilover? I was like, nothing. Nothing. I just got it from the car. No, what did you do to the coilover? I said, nothing. It's been like this for 3 years. He says, you're driven on this coilover like that for 3 years. I said, yes, I did. Now, what Kenny actually saw, and maybe, so this is my original Bilstein shock. So what Kenny actually saw was that this top nut was actually fully like tightened down to where there was no tread left. And from the moment he saw that, he was like, dude, you have an issue with your coilover setup. Like something is not right. Then when he started looking, he noticed that there was actually a rubber bushing missing. So how a coilover on the ND is normally set up with the top head installation is that you have a washer, like you could have seen in the video on the top, you have one on the bottom as well. Then you have like your OEM rubber bushing that comes on these Bilsteins. Then you have your top head, then you have the bushing, and the washer that you saw remained on the car and was actually on the inside of the trunk. Now, for some reason, the bottom washer and the rubber bushing were missing. So when Kenny saw that, he was really not that happy. He said like, dude, something is wrong with your car. If your car has been installed like this, you need to come to here to me ASAP with the car. So what he actually did, he actually fixed it so my top head was tight again, put it in a little in-between spacer in there, so I could install the coilover and drive it straight to their shop. Now I want to say, for one, big thanks to Kean Suspensions, because they actually helped me out from. So I went to Kean Suspensions on Friday and the car was fixed on Monday. That's how quick these guys were to help me out. So that was really quite awesome. So what happened was I installed the coilover, drove over there, and he was gonna look at what was actually wrong. So I brought the car to Kean Suspensions, and because they said there were bushings missing, I called up my dad, who had where my original Bilstein suspension was, to look in the box and see what was on here. And what do you know? The bottom bushing was still on the Bilstein suspension. So that kind of freaked me out. So I went to get those bushings, brought them over to Kean Suspensions, and they actually installed the new top hats and everything completely. So, but what now actually happened to the car? Well, because that rubber bushing wasn't installed, the bottom washer was actually pressed against the top hat. And because the bolt was fully threaded down, there wasn't, I don't think that it was fully tightened yet, because yeah, there was no thread left, so there's no way to know if it was fully tight. Now what actually happened was, after 3 years and about 60,000 kilometers of driving, that little washer said, I can't take this anymore, and probably broke in half because it wasn't there anymore and was just gone. And because the hole in the top hat was wide enough for the shock absorber tube to go through, it just went through it and it pushed the underside of like the interior plastics. So with all that, so because that bushing wasn't there, that was really messed up. Now the thing was, so Kenny was actually really worried, because he thought like, if this is how you've been driving for 3 years, like your coilovers it could be that you're gonna have an issue. Now luckily for me, my shock absorbers were still fine. Now they did have to straighten them out a bit, which freaks me out. That means that my coilovers were like not totally straight anymore, like they were new. It wasn't much, but he could straighten them out. So I'm really happy that I don't really need to buy new shock absorbers, because that would really suck. But if the car needed it, I probably would have done it, I don't know. But so they got everything installed correctly, the car is back on the road, everything's fine. But that just shows you guys. Now, I'm not gonna bash on the installer of my coilover setup. He has a nice garage, he has done a bunch of coilovers for friends of mine, but I'm actually kind of pissed, because in Belgium, the reason I got my coilovers installed is because in Belgium you need like certification of installation and everything, and you need to have that done by a certified garage. And yeah, to then take your not even a year-old car and your 2,000 plus euro suspension setup, because we all know KW V3s. KW are very quality parts, they are really good parts, but you do pay for that quality. And to then just take your not even a euro car, take your expensive suspension setup, and you trust that garage that is certified to install it correctly, and to then find out after 3 years that it has not been installed correctly on the car, it's so frustrating, you guys. Because once Kean Suspensions took apart the other side and the rear, even that washer was bent. Like, they said, like, probably if you would have driven that car for another week or maybe a week or two, that shock absorber would have gone as well. So this is just really frustrating for me, because you trust people with your car and you then find out something like that. Like, I think some of you guys can relate. But yeah, the car is fixed right now, everything's fine, and she's actually driving better than ever before. Like, truly, Kenny, Andy, you guys did an amazing job. And I just this is just a big shameless plug, because I don't even care. These guys helped me out the second I called them. So if you're interested in lowered springs, coilover suspension, air ride, wheels, you should check out Kean Suspensions. You can find them on their website, Facebook, Instagram. They do really good stuff. They are actually specialized in it. And I'm actually kind of bummed that I didn't go to them, because they actually installed my first coilover setup. And just because of circumstances, I thought it was okay to go to a different shop, which, yeah, joke's on me apparently. But I want to thank those guys. They really helped me out. They got my car set up correctly again. And yeah, I'm really happy that the car is back on the road. But that just goes to show, guys, if you get something installed, make sure you check out yeah, maybe some reviews, or maybe go to a shop that maybe has more experience in it. Just make sure that you trust the people who installed it. Well, I actually trusted the guy who installed it on my car, but this just shows that you never know how everything went. How's everything gonna go with your installation? Now I'm gonna end this video because I'm done being depressed, because the car is fixed, the car drives better than ever. She's ready for tons more adventures this summer once this COVID stuff dies down. Fingers crossed, guys, so we can go to car meets and such again. But again, big shout out to Kean Suspensions. All the information will be in the description down below. And yeah, go to their social media and tell them that they're awesome for fixing my car and helping me out, because those guys really know what they're doing. But that's all I got time for this week, guys. And next week we're gonna have a really exciting video, because we are changing something that I have been thinking about for the longest time now. And I've finally done it. So that's something you got to look out for next week. And yeah, thanks for watching. Give this video a like and or dislike. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.